Well, we're coming down slowly.
World travel 151.
I like to slow it down
Roger.
to 180 when whatever tells me to descend. And I'm going to walk through this because I have a little recording going. Maybe I can help somebody land a CRJ one day. If I figure it out, I'll upload it to Twitch. It'll probably be uploaded to YouTube. It's going to be a long video. Looks like we got about 20 minutes to destination. Probably be a little longer than that. I'm absolutely sure the air traffic control thing is going to direct me around in vectors to a runway. I'm guessing runway 10. We shall see. I've been directed down to 16,000. I missed that for about, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes.
Eastern 4.
That was nice.
Contact Houston Center 132.6.
132.6.
That was not a direction. Got the first officer operating the radio because he doesn't like to understand me.
4241, with you lead flight level to 14 descending 16,000.
Depends on the day. It's
4241, Houston Center. Roger.
Good part about the box ATC, you can sit there and talk to it yourself if you have a clear voice. Takes it a while to learn, I'm guessing. I know before I got rid of it, redid this whole computer. I remember it worked real well, and I put it back in, and
World
it's
Travel
iffy.
89 Nerd 4. Contact Houston Center 127.65.
127.65.
I'd like to look up my flap speeds if it's an aircraft I don't know. I know this one a little bit, but I forget. I know it's 230, I believe, for the first 3 settings. I don't know if that's flickering in the real broadcast. It's flickering on my end. Yeah, 230 knots for the first 3 sets of flaps. 185 for the 4th, and 170 for the 5th. And that guy's telling me we're below 18,000. We need to reset our altimeter.
Airway 129 Houston Center. Roger.
And I need to switch from Mach to speed, because my speed is still way up there. I forget about that. You want to switch that at 28,000 feet. It's about when I normally
Descend
switch
and
it.
maintain 6,000. Descend and maintain 6,000.
Now they want me at 6,000 feet.
4241.
Just keep on descending.
Airway 129
Should be able to slow down. You don't want to be above 250 knots below 10,000 feet. I actually have my virtual airline client running also, and it will flag me, say harsh things. No, it'll just pop up. Speed, over speed below 10,000. So once I get down to 10,000, I need to be below 250 knots, indicating.
Beach 1753.
Doesn't matter what your GPS says your ground speed is, as long as you're indicating. That's what pilots go by anyway. It's a little hard to, depending on the plane, to calculate your ground speed
7.65
while you're flying.
7.65 Eastern 4241. Houston Central.
I make sure on the way down I keep resetting my altimeter every couple thousand feet.
Eastern 4241.
A habit of mine. Probably doesn't help.
Altimeter 2982.
You could just listen to that guy. I just heard him 29 or 82 for altimeter. Yeah, I just hit reset and I'm at 2991. 2982 is probably on the ground, which is probably where I need to be, but I'll end up there anyway, as long as I keep resetting. What do I got there? 225 knots? Depending on what you're trying to do, you could actually deploy flaps right now if you want to. But I have plenty of time. I don't need to deploy flaps. I have before. I've overshot my descent. I'm speeding down. What I would do is level off for just a few seconds, enough to bleed off some airspeed down the flaps. Drop them first 3 flaps. Now I've created drag. Now I can slow down and I can dive even harder, which will get me to the runway when I need to. I wish I had recorded one the other day. I had one. I had to bring this thing in manually. We had no ILS. That was not good, but I had to dive to get to it. Did that. Leveled off real quick. Put a few degrees of flaps in. Dropped the gear. There's my drag at, I think I was at 26,000 feet or something. Like, yeah, real airlines don't do this. But it's a simulator, so why not? Did that, and I dived at 2,500 feet per minute, which is more than the average for the game. Can't guarantee if it's like that in real life, probably is. I always feel like we descend pretty quick when I'm in a commercial airline. This doesn't look good, does it? Got the blackish clouds, probably got some rain down there, snow. I'm running real world weather, so still a possibility there may be something going on.
Descending below 10,000.
230 knots.
Houston Center, pitch 1753, go with you at 10,000.
Your other thing, depending on airline, who you're flying for, whatever. One program we didn't like too much. As soon as you hit 10,000 feet, boom, you got to turn your landing light on. Not true in the real world that I know of. You don't necessarily have to have your landing light on. I fly my little Cessna during the day. I never touch the landing light or the taxi. Just don't need it. Makes sense. But then again, I'm not an airline transport pilot, so I don't know what they have to and have to not do. But I can show you how to land this thing. Hopefully it's good. Probably won't be, because I'm sitting here trying to talk. But we shall see.
4241, with you leaving 8,500, descending 6,000. Pacifica 848, Houston Central. Roger. Eastern 4241, Houston Central.
It's a good descent, I like it.
988.
Houston Center, update 725, with you at flight level 310.
World Bradford 58, contact distance center 127.65.
I think I'm going to cruise around at 160 on this one. I like to land at 140 to 150.
Roger.
drive Elliott 8 with you at flight level 260.
I know they're going to give me some direction
World
here
travel
soon.
828.
It always
Houston
vectors
Center.
me.
Roger.
Vectors me to the ILS.
Orbit 725. Contact
We
Houston
shall
Center
see.
127.65.
127.65. Update 725.
Soar 525. Contact Houston Center 127.65.
127.65. Soar 525.
Houston Center, Renegade 617 Papa with you at flight level 180.
Moving 8617 Papa, Houston Center. Roger.
One thing I like to do, no matter how far out I am in a jet, arm the speed brake. That means when you touch the ground, the speed brake comes up and slows you down.
Over 293 Papa.
Very handy.
8,000.
And that is that lever.
Null for 293
We'll see if I
Papa,
can get it to
Houston
show
Center.
something. This one.
Roger. Altimeter 288.
Maybe you can't see it. You'll see it move. I'm going to hit the button.
293 Papa.
That one. That's armed. Not armed, armed. Some jets actually have some up there on your primary display. It'll show you. Speed brake arm.
Houston Center. This one 5965.
And another thing, if you're not acquainted
Pacific 965.
jets,
Houston Center. Roger.
there's these fancy
Altimeter
two little levers. I
288.
can't show them to you. They're on the front of the throttle. There's some two white ones on the front of the throttle. Those are your reverse thrusters. They also need used when you land. They save the wear and tear of the brakes on the aircraft, which in simulator doesn't matter. You're not replacing it. You're not paying for it. But the way you get to that is you decrease your throttle rapidly on the simulator anyway.
Pacific 848.
I know the keyboard command is F2. I have a Sayatec throttle panel, and there's an extra button there at the bottom of the throttle where you just pass the zero, touch the bottom. If you set it up under that thing and put repeat all the way, that sucker will hit reverse thrust. And it'll slow you down. Okay. The only thing you have to remember is to shut the reverse thrust off
Drive Elliott 8.
when you get 80 knots. I shut it off at 80 knots. In real life, they shut it off somewhere around there because what it's doing is actually taking the exhaust gases and throwing them forward, which means anything like debris on the runway is going to get blown up off the runway and sucked into the intake. Not a good day for an airplane.
X-ray Alpha Whiskey Fox Zulu.
So you don't want that to happen. I guess 80 knots is, I think it was 80 knots on that one simulator piece I had that told me you need to stop it there. I'm guessing that's the speed that you overcome the exhaust gases. I guess you're moving faster than anything that comes up. I don't know. Sounds good to me.
Houston Center. This one 441 with you at flight level 0.
Pacific at 441, Houston Center. Roger.
That's why I ain't been vectored yet. I'm still 40-some miles out. Got me down here 6,000 feet. Wasting gas. Jets do not get good gas mileage on the ground. They're designed to combust air in, the atmosphere. I'll learn about that later in class. I don't know.
Contact Houston Center.
My idea makes sense. You get up in the air, there's less air. Less air, less fuel. And less drag. Less drag, you're going to go faster for less. Makes sense.
49 degree. Contact
Which by that theory, would people in the mountains get better
7.65.
gas mileage in their vehicle?
127.65. Start
No, because they're going up and down.
Pacifica 334, Houston Center. Roger. Pacifica
Still got
441.
ground friction.
Contact Houston Center 127.65.
This is why airplanes are better.
127.65.
Anyway,
Pacifica 932. Contact Houston Center 127.0.
127.0.
Pacifica 334. Contact Houston Center 127.0.
127.0.
Pacifica 441. Houston Center. Roger.
oh, welcome to the boring part.
Houston Center, SR 9323 with you at flight level 340.
4933, Houston Center. Roger. Eastern 4241. Contact New Orleans. Approach 123.85. 123.85. Eastern 4241. New Orleans approach. Eastern 4241. With you at 6000.
Eastern 4241. Fly ahead 265. Descend and maintain 2,800. Expect vectors to layout. That's runway 10. Approach Armstrong, New Orleans. International. Altimeter 2983.
Flight heading 265. Descend and maintain 2800. Eastern 4241.
2,800 feet, heading 265. Guess what? Runway 10. Man, some days I think I'm getting good at this. I guessed that earlier in the flight. I didn't guess, I used my flight bag beside me. It tells me all these things. I just have to get everything for it. 109.9 for frequency, approach course. Oh yeah, ILS. Get your frequency, you get it out of the map, you can get it online.
Reset transponder. Squawk 301 from.
Reset transponder. Squawk 301 for Eastern 4241.
Oh, I forgot the radio
Eastern
operator does that.
4241. Reduce speed 180.
Reduce speed 180. Eastern 4241.
Wants me to reduce speed, but I can't. So what do? Drop the flaps. That's what I was saying earlier. Anyway, ILS, you can get it off the map, you can get stuff offline. GPS, if you go through it, you can find it on there. I find it on my flight bag, it's much easier. What did I do? 3 degrees left? I did 2. I'll let it slow. You're going to want your frequency. Put that in your nav 1. Which, let's see, this airplane, it's the second one down on that little display there. 109.9, nav 1. And you're going to want to set your course if that's available. You don't actually have to in most airplanes, but if I have it, I set it. This one is going to be 105 degrees. Don't ask me where you set that on here. I just set it on my fancy thing I bought. I guess I'm sure there's something, yeah, on the autopilot, that end off, that's course. So you should set that. And you pretty much just wait.
Expect vectors to layout. That's runway 10. Approach Armstrong, New Orleans.
Your other option,
Altimeter 2.
ILS works probably
World travel
10 miles out,
899er,
maybe.
fly ahead 210, descend and maintain
If you don't
2,800,
know when it's
select
activated,
vectors to
you can
IL,
come down
pass
here,
runway 10,
where those little R's are.
Armstrong, New
You'll see
Orleans,
nav 1 and nav 2 on that bottom one below that radio panel.
983.
You click that little arrow, this one here, see it move? On, off, on, off. You turn it on, you'll hear it beeping. Then you'll know you're ready to switch from GPS to navigation.
Cessna 262, fly ahead 215.
Switch to navigation, you get established. Established means you are lined up with the runway. Once you're lined up with the runway, you can switch to approach. As long as this little pink dot, that one on the right, as long as that is above where, right there in the center, it's centered right now, as long as it's above it, you can hit approach. And it will actually capture what they call the glide slope. And it will take you down to the ground at the 1,000-foot mark on the runway. You're not gonna land. You're not gonna let it land though. Well, you can if you want. It'll just land really hard. You get to about 200 feet above the ground, shut the autopilot off, go manual. So much better. Get real close, 200 feet. Start slowing the throttle back, real nice and easy. By now you should have already shut your airspeed off, your autopilot airspeed. Most of these planes, most of the default planes, it does not shut off with the autopilot button. Make sure you click it, otherwise you'll just be speeding down the runway at whatever speed you set it. Set that, don't touch your throttle till you're ready. If you have a control, it'll hold whatever speed it is until you touch the control. I'm just waiting on another command from ATC. 200 feet, shut off the autopilot, slowly bring down the throttle, flare for landing at about 15 feet above, 10, 15. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Just pull the nose up real nice and gentle, let it touch down. It's a beautiful landing, I'm sure it will be. Mine won't, but maybe yours will. I hope he didn't tell me to turn anywhere. I haven't been listening. I shouldn't have. I haven't passed the airport yet.
Travel 899er, turn left headed 210, descend and maintain 1,800.
Turn left heading 210, cleaning 2,900, descending 1,800, word drive L8 minor.
Oh yeah, that ATC there, that's the greatest thing ever. I don't care which one you use. But if you use stock ATC,
turn right heading 215.
aftermarket ATC, whatever you use, I had to listen to the radio. Whatever you use is awesome because it's gonna send you to a runway. You don't have to worry about wind or anything like that, which is what you would normally do in a small aircraft at an airport, without air traffic control. You jump on here with air traffic control, they're going to tell you this is the runway you need to land on. This is how you need to get there. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. It takes some of the guesswork out of simulation. I love it. Like I said, I would be talking to it, but it doesn't like my voice today, so I'm not messing with it.
Travel 899er, turn left headed 200.
Left heading 200.
The only reason I have the flaps up where they are now, if I put it down another one and I start descending, which I probably won't, because it's got me pretty low already,
left heading
it'll start
155.
beeping,
Driver
and it's really annoying. And all it wants is for you to put the gear down. I have yet to figure out in a stock airplane how to shut that off. I'm absolutely sure there should be something to shut it off with.
Eastern 4241. Turn left heading 255.
Turn left heading 255.
But I haven't figured it out yet.
241.
There they gave us something. Turn left 255. Not bro. Look at that bridge. Heck yeah. So that goes all the way across. Here, we'll look. Yeah, it does.
World Travel 899er. Turn left heading 130.
Left heading 130.
It's a long bridge.
Driver 899er.
World Travel 899er. Maintain 1000.
Guess that's one way to not have to
Established on
go around.
lots. Cleared for
Bet you that costs a pretty penny for one to build, too, in real life.
New Orleans International Tower 119.5.
Maintain 1800 until established on localizer. Clear for ILS.
You listen to stuff like that, he's going to be down at 1,800 feet. That tells me I'll probably be down at 1,800 feet. ATC will, if you listen carefully, you get used to it, you'll sometimes have clues to what's going to happen next. It's always nice to have clues.
Cessna 262. Turn right heading 215.
Right heading 215. Cessna 262.
Put in my traffic radar that the Cessna he's talking to somewhere right in front of me at 2,800 feet. There we go. I reset my altimeter again. You see me climbing just a hair. I make it a habit to reset. Always good to be at the right altitude. Not paying attention, you hit the side of a mountain. That is not good.
Turn left heading 245. Eastern for
Left heading
241.
245. Yeah. Yeah, I'm past the airport now. That's why they're sending me around properly. By the looks of my radar, I think it's going to have me follow a little 172 in.
Cessna 262, turn left heading 205, descend and maintain 1,800.
Turn left heading 205. 2,000.
Hopefully they give me enough spacing that I don't run that thing over. Looking at this, I'm about 10 miles behind it now. That's going to be fun. This program is pretty good about getting the spacing proper and getting stuff out of your way. All the traffic is controlled by this program. I have no traffic turned on with the simulator. It's all with box ATC. when I first started using it, I had some simulator traffic turned on, and I ran nose to nose with an airplane on the ground because, well, Box ATC doesn't control them, and they kind of just do what they want, which sucks, especially when you have realism on it. We just sat there. It was funny because it stopped for me, and I stopped, but we're both sitting on taxiway, so we just kind of sat there. I guess like real pilots would do, you know, just sit there staring at each other like, yeah, we're screwed. There's nowhere to go. You know, no left and right. In the real world, you can taxi off the runway and something that big.
Turn left heading to 35.
Turn left heading to 35.
You just kind of sink in the mud. That's not good. There's that little Cessna. 9.1 miles ahead. At like 85 knots. 96 knots. He is booking. He's going 96. I'm going 160. We're going to run him over.
Cessna 262. Turn right heading 205.
Turn right heading 205.
That's something always made me wonder right there, the air traffic control. I'd like to go see them in there, because I know the big ones, the centers and stuff, they work in just like a dark room with a screen. Which is why it's one of the most stressful jobs ever. I'd like to just see, how do they know exactly what direction to turn each and every aircraft? Can they like put a compass over top of it on the screen or something? Probably not. They probably just know from, you know, years of experience and training. Seems pretty cool to me that they can do that. Guess one day I'll have to ask my friend. He didn't work in a center. Got a friend that retired military air traffic control.
Eastern 4241. Turn left heading to 25.
Turn left heading to 25.
And,
Eastern 4241.
I asked him if he was working as a mechanic with me. And I asked him, I said, why wouldn't you go back to air traffic control? I'm sure it pays more. His answer, oh, I was too old when I got out. Welcome to unfair jobs in the military. Did that for 25 years, been controlling airplanes. And where he was at, he controlled civilian and military airplanes. Not a problem. But because of his age, when he got out of the military, he couldn't be an air traffic controller. But anyway, off that story, I'll have to ask him one day, you know, how did he know exactly which direction to turn stuff? There's probably some kind of science to it that I don't know. Or he may be honest. Oh, you just guess. What? I don't want you guys directing me no more. Yeah, man, you just guess.
Eastern 4241. Turn left heading to 15.
Turn left heading to 15. Eastern 4241.
Departure with 866. Review at 1000.
866. New Orleans departure. Roger.
Oh.
Eastern 4241. Turn left heading to 05. Descend and maintain 1800.
Turn left heading to 05. Descend and maintain 1800. Eastern 4241.
Cessna 262. Turn left heading 145.
Turn left heading 145. Cessna 262.
Cessna 262. Maintain 1800 until established on localized or cleared for layout as runway 10 approach. Monitor New Orleans International Tower 119.5.
Maintain 1800 until established on locals. Alright, that's runway 10.
forgot about my fire going in the house
New
here.
Orleans departure.
They didn't say nothing, did they?
112 with you 1,300.
Orbit 866, climb and maintain 13,000.
It's a good part about Box ATC. I can see that.
866.
Orbit 112, New Orleans departure. Roger.
2,500.
Hey, ground proximity warning system.
Orbit 866, reduce speed to 50.
Reduce speed to 50. 866.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to land.
Orbit 112,
Please remain seated
climb
until
and
we have
maintain
stopped.
13,000.
Alright, let's get this gear down.
Leading 3,400. Climb 13,000.
Gear going down.
Orbit 112.
Now I can throw some more flaps in it. Flaps give you more lifts, which also allows you a steeper descent angle.
Turn left heading 195.
Turn left heading 1905, Eastern for 241.
Makes it easier. Well, let me flip that switch, see if we can hear the ILS. There it is.
Orbit 112.
I'm pretty sure in the simulator, but in real life, on the map, it'll give you dots and dashes. It will tell you if that is the proper one. Morse code that basically, probably on this one, since it's MSY, it probably says MSY. That's probably the Morse code for those letters. I hear it, I'm happy. Now I just have to wait till I'm getting close to lined up. They give me permission. And I'll flip over to nav and let the plane line up.
Eastern 4241. Turn left heading 155.
Turn left heading 155, Eastern for 241.
Let's see, what's I holding, 160? Yeah. We're down to 150. I think that'll be my final speed. If you want to know your speed for landing, that is also in the reference. It's probably at the bottom. V reference landing approach speed. I normally go with the heavier one. This one, the heaviest, is 145, so as long as you're over that, you should be good. 150 sounds good to me. Beats 145 every time. I theoretically am not that heavy. But I like to be fast. I'd rather be fast than slow. Slow means you fall out of the air.
Eastern 4241. Turn left heading 135.
Turn left heading 135, Eastern for 241.
Eastern 4241. Maintain 1,800 until established on localize. Cleared for layout. That's runway 10.
That's what I'm waiting to hear.
New Orleans International Tower 119.5.
Maintain 1,800 until established on localizer. Cleared for ILS runway 10 approach. 119.5.
Make sure you flip over to nav, you're holding heading, but you turn on your nav hold at this point. Just turn on your nav hold, and what's going to happen is when it intersects that fancy green line down there, when it starts coming in, the autopilot will automatically shut off heading hold. I'm below the dot. When that green line comes closer together, it's going to shut off my heading hold, which you can see I currently have on. Lock is nav hold on this. It'll activate that. It'll line me up with the runway. Once it does that, maybe a little before, sometimes I do it before, depending on if that pink dot's moving. The one on the right, the altitude dot. If it starts moving, I do it before it. If not, I wait till it shuts off heading hold and I hit approach. When it hits approach, pretty much does everything by itself all the way to the ground until you shut it off. Make sure you shut it off early. Go ahead and do it by hand. If you have a trim wheel and you plan on using it to land, I normally don't. Now's the time you want to hit it and see if it's synchronized. I don't know if anybody here has a Sayatech trim wheel or any trim wheel, but if I hit it right now, it's going to be whatever I set when I take off because I haven't touched it since, and it's probably going to make the plane dive. That's just what it does. It sucks, but that's what it does. I've crashed many planes trying to figure out why is my plane crashing when I do that. Oh, yeah, because it doesn't know where it's at. Yeah, that little Cessna needs to hurry up, doesn't he? He's probably not landing on my runway. I don't know if there's two there or not. Didn't look. Might be going to another airport. I don't know. Definitely not another runway. I hope he's not going to my airport. Oh, he disappeared. Oh, crap. It didn't establish.
Cleared to land runway 10.
I gotta do it myself. See, I wasn't paying attention. You don't pay attention. You just shut your altitude off and dive by yourself. I have no left and right control, so it is locked on that. I believe them. The one that just turned red and white, I believe that's my runway. Yeah, it's lining me up. You can, if you want, you can leave your nav on and let it line you up and just do what I'm doing right here. You can control up and down with your yoke.
1,000.
If that's easier for you. But it just took me off the yoke, so it's on by itself. I've never had one do that, but I mean, you see the yoke and it's not going down. You see it popping up at the bottom of the screen. It's on by itself now. So, it's locked in. That's pretty cool. Never had it do that. I have permission to land. That's always nice. And here we go. Hands on the yoke, hands on the throttle. I set my throttle, if I have a manual throttle, I set it about 25%. That's probably about where you're at coming in. I know it looks like I'm off, but I let it do its own thing till we get close. I always do.
$300. Approaching minimums.
That's my landing light. I normally don't turn that on. Okay, there's my speed off. Minimums, I shut off. I'm going main.
200. Minimums.
Slow and throttle. Throttle's at idle. Use my rudder to kind of line up a little better. Start pulling at 100.
40, 30, 30, 20, 20, 10.
And just let it settle. Doesn't matter how much runway you use. There it is. Reverse thrust.
Reversers engaged.
100 knots. I haven't touched the brakes yet. 80 knots, thrusters off, brakes on.
60 knots.
Eastern 4241, turn right any intersection. Low code, Eastern 4241.
Please remain seated until the aircraft has come to a complete halt.
And start
The
putting
captain has
flaps
turned
up.
off the seatbelt sign.
I'm off the runway. I'll shut my lights and my landing light and my strobe light off. If those come on and off when you're on the runway. They're off.
Eastern 4241, contact New Orleans International Ground 121.9.
And I will be using ground services down here.
Eastern 4241.
I believe I have it set up.
World travel 503, cross runway 28. Taxi to
That's
runway
it.
19er via Sierra. Hold short runway 24.
Just have to wait
New
till she
Orleans
tells me where I'm
International
going.
Ground, Eastern 4241, vacate runway.
Cessna 70 Sierra. Taxi to runway 19er.
Those green dots are from Box ATC. It's telling me where to go.
Runway 28. Eastern 4241. Taxi to gate Golf 1 via Echo.
Gate Golf
Message
1.
gate Golf 1 via Echo.
Request follow me?
Eastern
No, because we
4241.
have those little green things. If you request follow me with ground services, it will send a truck out, and you can follow a truck back. What I've just done is I put a marshaller on site, which I don't know if they have that in real life or not. They probably do. Some guy that stands down there. I know we're being trained to do it in the mechanic position, but he sits down there and tells the plane when to stop, and whether he's lined up pretty good or not. You'll see when I get there. It's pretty cool. I like Vox ATC with these green dots because that always helps you get where you go. I like to know where I'm going. That's always good. I don't have to sit here and look over at my stuff. I mean, my flight bag, it's active. It tells me where I'm at, where I'm taking all that stuff. But I hate taking my eyes off the screen too much. One thing they told me in my private pilot training, he said, just remember, aviate, navigate, communicate. Fly the plane first. That's all he's saying. You're in here and the engines are on, you're flying the plane. I don't care if you're on the ground. So right now, I'm flying the plane, so I have to do it first. Navigating would be staring over there at that screen or at a map or something like that. Yeah. I got green there. I've made life easier. I have green dots. In the real life, you got two people in the cockpit, so the co-pilot or the pilot, I don't know who's taxiing, could sit there and tell you, hey, you need to turn left here, you need to turn right there. I mean, granted, they give you directions, taxi via Echo here, but once you get off Echo, like right now, I'm off of Echo. How do I necessarily know where I'm going? Well, that's what the ground charts say. And that's what you two are there. There's my little guy in his fancy reflective vest. I still gotta try and line up, because right now he's just waiting. Try and keep it on that yellow line there. There he's gonna start directing me. He wants me to go to the right. That's the signal for right. That's the signal for left. And this should be coming to a stop. He touches, you stop. Cut engines, that's what that one is. Cut my engines. Parking brake. Shut the lights down.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived at our destination.
If I
On
remember, I
behalf of
can
the captain
activate
and
that.
crew, we thank you for flying with us today and
There
hope
it
you
goes.
enjoy
Oh, it
the
opens
weekend.
that too. Nice.
Cessna 70 Sierra, cross runway 28. Taxi to runway 19er via Sierra.
And that's all there is to it.
Runway 24.
Makes it pretty simple.
Cross runway 28. Taxi to runway 19er via Sierra.
Pretty much, thanks for watching.
Cessna 70 Sierra.
And see you next time.
Orleans International Travel, 700, Cape Call 21 for youth information.